Warning. The following show features stunts performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, Hollywood Entertainment Corporation insists that no one attempt to recreate or reenact any stunt or dangerous activities performed or portrayed on this show. However, you should reenact and follow the safety tips you see presented here. You'll be glad you did.
I'm Johnny Wilsonville. Welcome to Knucklehead. This is the drop box of joy.
Got that right.
Well, that looks brilliant. Hey, what's up, Hollywood Video and Game Crazy? Chris here. Those knuckleheads don't look like they're too concerned with safety, but you and me, we know better. At Hollywood Video and Game Crazy, the safety of your partners and guests is a priority. That means taking precautions, using common sense, and being smart to avoid accidents and injuries.
This is Dumpster Dive.
You know, I've heard of dumpster diving before, but I didn't realize it was a contact sport. At least this time they've got the right equipment. But you're not doing any stunts at work, so why the big deal about safety? Well, look, when you're not careful, you can get hurt just doing normal everyday stuff. And getting hurt hurts. And being injured can really affect your life, both on the job and off. You've got a lot riding on your safety, so don't trash it. And getting hurt can cost you. If you get hurt and can't come to work, how are you going to put food on the table for you or your family? Or at the very least, pay for tuition, make that car payment, or buy that new DVD player you wanted. And think about your partners. They're counting on you to stay in one piece so that you can come to work. Oh, and don't forget our guests. They come in to get the latest movie or check out the hottest new game, not to get injured. It's up to you to make sure they're safe in our store. And then there's the company as a whole. When our partners or guests get hurt, it hurts us all because it affects the bottom line. How much do injuries cost us? Well, between insurance, medical bills, and payments for lost wages, Hollywood loses over $7 million a year due to injuries. And that's a lot of money, my friends. So how can you avoid accidents and injuries in your store? It's about using your noodle, using common sense, and not being a knucklehead.
This is Day Tripper.
You don't have to be a professional knucklehead to take a fall. I know it happens to me every once in a while. In fact, for us amateurs, slips, trips, and falls are a big problem. In the U.S., over 1 million people get hurt every year slipping, tripping, and falling on the job. So how do you avoid slips, trips, and falls in your store? Well, it all starts down on the floor. Keep your floors dry and mop up spills immediately. And don't forget your caution sign. Achtung, cuidado. You've got one of these. Use it at the first sign of trouble. You've also got to keep your store clear of things that could trip people up, especially in the aisles and pathways. This means movies, boxes, display cases, garbage, whatever. Always keep an eye out for stuff that gets in the way. And that includes product displays, fixtures, poster stands, or any other visual presentation element. Always make sure that there's a clear path. Consult your visual presentation guide and quarterly planner for instructions on how to set these items up properly. And if you need to deviate from the planner to make sure that your store is safe, just be sure to check with your district manager first. Check to see that floor mats are flat and aren't going to be a trip hazard. And if you have stairs or steps, make sure they're clean and clear. And keep your floors and carpeting in good shape. That means no rough edges or fraying that could trip someone up. On the outside, make sure you've got ice melting product in stock during the winter, just in case things get slippery. Check the floors in your store regularly. If you've got damaged carpet or flooring in your store that needs some extra attention, let your district manager know. If you keep your floors clean and keep the pathways clear of stuff, you'll reduce the chance for slips, trips, and falls in your store.
Stack it up.
Nice. As our friends there just demonstrated, lifting is really less about muscle and more about technique. Safe lifting means keeping your back straight. Keep your center of gravity and let your legs do the work. Use these steps to lift safely, and you can save your back from getting seriously tweaked. First, size up the load and decide if it's too heavy or awkward to lift alone. If it seems that way, get some help. Map out the route you will take. Check for hazards and make sure you've got some place to unload. Make sure that you can see over the top of the load. Test the weight of the load before you lift by pushing it with your hands or feet to see how easily it moves. This will give you a good idea of how heavy it is. Get as close to the load as you can so you've got the most leverage. Put your feet about shoulder width apart and straddle the load if possible. Tuck in your hips and bend your knees. Don't bend at the waist or extend your upper body. That's the easiest way to tweak your back. Now you're ready to lift. If you have to turn, move those feet, not your torso. When you put down your load, bend at the knees and put it down slowly. Follow these simple steps and you can lift like a pro.
All right, ready?
Ladders present unique opportunities for some really unsafe and knuckle-headed moves. So when using a ladder, you've got to remember the basics of ladder safety.
10.5, man.
I give him a perfect 10 for stupidity. Not a wise move. Check out the ladder before using it. That means make sure that there aren't any cracks, bends, splits, or corrosion, and that rungs, steps, bolts, and rivets are tight. Never use a ladder while working by yourself. Wait until another partner is on shift. If you get into trouble, you'll need someone to help you out. Before climbing a ladder, make sure that it is on solid, level ground. If not, don't climb it. Don't overreach. Always make sure you're facing the ladder when going up or down. And always put a ladder away immediately after using it so that it's not a hazard to our partners or guests, or so that kids won't be tempted to climb on it. And be sure that the ladder is secured so it doesn't fall down. And that's the ups and downs of ladders, my friends.
This is how you open a box.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark. Okay, maybe everybody's not as accident prone as Johnny, But box knives are really sharp, and they can cause some nasty cuts if not used properly. So, you've got to be sharper than the knife. Always use a sharp box cutter blade and throw out any used blades. Don't leave loose blades in drawers or on shelves throughout the store. Take the cardboard sleeve from the new blade and put the old blade in it before you throw it out. You wouldn't believe how many people get cut by loose blades in the trash. Hold the box with your opposite hand out of the blade's path. Cut along the tape seam where the box flaps meet, or when cutting through cardboard, cut where instructed. Always cut away from your body. When you're not using your box cutter, make sure to retract the blade and store it away safely. We wouldn't want our guests to hurt themselves by leaving a blade laying around. Follow these simple rules and you should be able to keep all your fingers and toes intact and not lose any time on the job.
This is my fucking jousting.
Ah yes, thrills and spills. Speaking of spills, you notice those suits they're wearing. Those are called hazmat suits, which is short for hazardous materials. Now sometimes when accidents happen in your store, the cleanup can actually be just as dangerous as the accident itself. The first thing to do is evaluate the situation. Is it something that can be easily cleaned up by putting on some rubber gloves and using a cleaner? Or is it a huge mess that may have permanently damaged the store and might even be hazardous to clean up? Does it involve cleaning up blood? Or does it involve cleaning up any other bodily fluids? Look, nobody likes cleaning up these messes, but somebody has to do it. Still, it's up to you to use your own judgment. If you feel that you can safely clean the mess up using the supplies you have, then go for it. Your guests and partners will appreciate it. Remember, cleaning supplies can be potentially hazardous too, so check out your material safety data sheets that are kept with your supplies before you use them, so you'll know how to use them properly. If you're unable to clean up things yourself or aren't sure how to proceed, consult your manager on duty or your district manager. They'll help you deal with the mess or get facilities in the loop if necessary. In any case, the most important thing is that you get the mess cleaned up as quickly and safely as possible, so your store will be clean and safe for both you and your guests.
Wrap it up!
Even when you're careful and have everything wrapped up, sometimes accidents just happen. That's when you can't afford to be a knucklehead. You've got to be able to keep your cool and make the right moves. First off, tell your store director or the manager on duty what's going on pronto. If you're a store director, you will need to report the incident to your district manager as soon as possible. Next, check out your partner emergency procedure flip chart. There's a copy in the office. This will give you a list of all the local emergency numbers as well as a quick guide on procedures for all sorts of emergencies. Your store director should always keep this list updated. For any accident, whether it involves guests or partners, an incident report statement form needs to be completed right away and faxed to risk management. These forms can be found on the POS forms menu under risk management. If you're dealing with an accident involving a guest, remember that you'll need to get their personal contact information for the incident report. If first aid is needed, there's a first aid kit in the store director's office. This kit should always be maintained and stocked by your store director. If it's not, let them know immediately. If you've got an injury that may keep you from working, the workers' compensation process located on the POS system will help guide you on completing the right paperwork. If you have any questions about emergency procedures, paperwork, or workers' compensation, just contact your district manager. They'll be able to walk you through the options. Safety is mostly about common sense, but sometimes we do unsafe things because we're in a hurry or we're tired or we think we're saving time. Look, if something feels kind of sketchy or unsafe, it probably is. You've just got to stop and think. Now that you know the basics of safety, it's up to you to use your head and to look out for yourself, your partners, and your guests. So be safe, be careful, but most of all, don't be a knucklehead. Yeah. No. I can see he's like,
You're not funny, huh?
You talking to me? You talking to me?